Om Namo Narayanaya, Jai Swaminarayan, Namaste. I thought it felt like a good time on this channel to return to some of the Upanishads as I slowly make my way through the 108 canonical Upanishads. So I randomly just chose this one. Just ate breakfast a second ago, and I saw that this had something to do with food, or the first line mentions food. So I thought, this is a good Upanishad to return with. This is the Pranagnihotra Upanishad, translated by Dr. A.G. Krishna Warrier, who translated so many things. Not always the smoothest translations in terms of reading, but his contributions just are not recognized. They need to be way more recognized. Now, therefore, we shall set forth the hymn of food that is beyond all empirical knowledge, the essence of all Upanishads, dealing with the sacrifice in the body, by virtue of which the embodied man becomes free from transmigratory life without Agnihotra and the knowledge of Sankhya. According to proper procedure, setting cooked rice on the ground, one intones the 3 verses beginning with Ya Osadhaya, and the 2 beginning with Anapate. The many plants of hundreds of shapes and forms that Soma rules, asking, urged on by Brihaspati, you deliver us from the calamities. The many plants of 100 shapes and forms that Soma rules, asking, urged on by Brihaspati, please deliver us from calamities. The fruitful plants and fruitless that have flowers, and the flowerless, urged on by Brihaspati, please deliver us from calamities. Let me not bind for you the plants that live and endow others with life, that are free from malignancy. May they fight the evil spirits for one who offers them in sacrifice. Lord of food, give us food that is clean and rich in energy. Help the giver of food over the hazards of life. Endow us, bipeds and quadrupeds, with might. May the food we eat be fire, though it is adverse to the Rudras and the evil spirits, and may it promote generations of offspring. Let the mighty Lord purge it of all the seeds of fear, and make it auspicious. Hail to the mighty Lord. Seeing all you move within the hidden places, you are the sacrifice. You are Brahma, Rudra, Vishnu. You are the sacred syllable Vasat. Light, taste, the immortal Brahman, the earth, the mid-region, and the firmament. Om salutations. May the waters purify the earth. May the purified earth purify me. May the waters purify the master of the Veda. May the hallowed Vedic essence purify me. Whatever is left over is unfit to be consumed. Whatever deed of mine be sinful, all these may the waters purify. Hail, you are ambrosia, an ambrosial spread. You are ambrosia in regard to the vital breath, fit for the sacred offering, the last breath. Om salutation to prana. Om salutation to apana. Om salutation to vyana. Om salutation to udana. Om salutation to samana. Om salutation to Brahma. Om, may myself be in Brahma for the winning of immortality. The offering to prana is made with the little finger and thumb. With the ring finger and thumb is made the offering to apana. The middle finger and the thumb is made to that of Yana. With all the fingers is the offering made to Udana, and with the forefinger and the thumb is made the offering to Samana. Silently one offering is made with one rik, 2 in the Ahavanya, 1 in the Dakshina fire, 1 in the Garhapatya, and 1 in the fire for all expiatory rites. Then you are the lid for immortality, for winning immortality. Sipping one must take again and touch again. Taking water in the right palm and holding it over against the heart, one should intone, Prana is fire, is the Supreme Self surrounded by the 5 vital breaths. Fearless to all living beings, fear never dwells in me. You are Vashna. You are Vishva and Vaishvanara. By you is the multiform world sustained as it manifests itself. Where you are, the immortal Brahma, all the offerings are made. This great and novel spirit is established at the ends of the big toes. I pour water round him at the end of the ceremonial eating for winning immortality. Let this external self meditate on specific activities. Thus one makes offerings in the fire. Let the performer be a son to all. Ritual offerings are consecrated in the fire. I shall perform sacrifice in my body. There are 4 fires, nominee ones, corresponding to the 4 parts of Om with the half syllable. There is no solar fire, shaped like the solar disk, sheathed in 1,000 rays. Abiding in the crown is the solar seer. The fire of vision, mentioned with its 4 forms, becoming the Ahavaniya, is stationed in the mouth. The bodily fire consumes the oblations that destroy old age. Becoming Dakshinagni, shaped like a half moon, it is stationed in the heart. Then there is the gastric fire, becoming Garhapatya, which is stationed at the navel, consuming what is eaten, drunk, licked, and sucked. Underneath are the 3 horizontal states of mind, the moon, the Lord, and the ancient of generation. In this bodily sacrifice, unadorned by the girdle round the sacrificial post, who is the sacrificer? Who is his wife? Who are the officiating priests? Who are the attendants? Who are the sacrificial vessels? What are the oblations? Which is the altar? Which is the interior of the altar? Which is the wooden container for the soma juice? Which is the chariot? Which is the sacrificial animal? Who is the officiating priest? Who is the invoking priest? Who is the assistant of the chief priest? Who is the assistant of the advaru? Who is the first chanter? Who is the assistant of the hotir? Who sings the soma songs aloud? Which is the libation to Agni? Who is the assistant of the Brahma priest? What are the darba grass? Which is the ladle? Which is the container of the ghee? Which are the 2 ghee offerings? Which are the 2 parts of the ghee? What are the preliminary offerings? What are the final sacrifices? Which is the Ida libation in between the 2? What is the recitation? What is the Samyarvaka formula? Which are the 4 Ajya oblations? Which is the sacrificial post? Which is the cord? Which are the ishtis, the oblations of butter, fruits, etc.? What is the sacrificial fee? What is the ritual bath after the sacrifice? In the bodily sacrifice, unadorned by the cord round the sacrificial post, the sacrificer is the self. His wife is the intellect. The great officiating priests are the Vedas. The ego is the advaryu. The mind stuff is the invoking priest. Prana is the assistant of the chief priest. Apana is the assistant of the advaryu. Vyana is the first chanter. Udana is the loud sama singer. Samana is the assistant of hotir. The body is the altar. The nose is the interior of the altar. The crest is the wooden container. The foot is the chariot. The right hand is the ladle. The left hand is the container of the ghee. The ears are the 2 ghee offerings. The eyes are the 2 parts of the ghee. The neck is the libation. The tanmatras are the assistant of the Brahma priest. The great elements are the attendants. Gunas are the supplemental offerings. The tongue is the final sacrifice. Teeth and lips are the middle libation. The palate is the hymn recitation. Memory is the Samyarvaka formula. Compassion, forbearance, non-violence are the 4 Aya oblations to Soma, etc. Om is the sacrificial post. Desire is the cord. Mind is the chariot. Lust is the sacrificial animal. The hair is the darba grass. The sense organs are the sacrificial vessels. The organs of actions are the oblations. Non-violence is the ishtis. Renunciation is the sacrificial fee. The post-sacrificial bath follows from death. In this body are stationed all the divinities. Either one dies in Benares, or the Brahmana who reads this Upanishad achieves liberation in one life. This is the secret doctrine. And this is the Pranagnihotra Upanishad. So it wasn't exactly about food. I knew it wasn't. You knew that too, maybe. It's more than that. It mentions food, but then it dives very deep into theology, for lack of a better word, and God. And then it takes this turn that I didn't see coming, where it's describing all these very complex ideas, and then it starts to talk about a Vedic sacrifice. If you go into the first book of Valmiki's Ramayana, which I read here, you will actually see a sacrifice described in detail. They do the horse sacrifice. And in that retelling, the priest details a lot of things that are needed. If you go into the 4 books of the Vedas, one of them, and I'm blanking which one, because I didn't know I was going to be mentioning this, actually details all the things you need for a sacrifice that looks just like what we've described. But for this Upanishad, it takes it into a different direction. It's not about the actual physical Vedic sacrifices that we don't do anymore. A bodily sacrifice where everything physical in that Vedic sacrifice is found here. It's mind-boggling. It's worth a reread, but it's also so fascinating. So I was reading on this channel one of the Upanishads, and I don't remember which one, but it was a lot like this, and it totally enthralled me because it was describing how when we do a puja, or when we offer incense, or when we offer food or whatever, how each of these things have a bigger meaning. It's not just here's some fire, here's some incense. There's more. And if I remember correctly, the Upanishad actually detailed how some of that is represented in our body, kind of just like this. Wow, it's unbelievable. It's really awesome when you consider this stuff really not so much in the physical form of here is a pencil and I write words, but maybe instead here is a pencil. This represents the pencil. I don't know. It was really fascinating to end with this. I don't even know what to say. I will say there's one sad thing about reading this. At the beginning of this Upanishad, he mentions different things, like one should intone the 3 verses beginning with Ya Osadhaya. I don't know what he's referring to. Likely, if you are familiar with Vedic sacrifices, you might be familiar. I think for the average person who practices Sanatana Dharma nowadays, we are not really well versed in Vedic sacrifices and Vedic chants and the culture and world of that time. And if we are familiar with some of the chants or some of the things, they may not necessarily be something that we have a personal relationship with. We may not have a spiritual connection to this stuff. It's very maybe historical. You know what I mean? So when we read some of these Upanishads, and this is a prime example, I really think we lose a lot of stuff. And it becomes hard to understand. And it's not the fault of the Upanishad. I mean, the translation could be better. It's our fault because we've lost something. We've lost the old religion. We've lost the old culture, and therefore these great texts, these sacred texts, are full of hidden mystery that will be hidden for the large majority of us. So thanks for watching. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Swaminarayan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.